Undoubtedly, New Mexico boasts stunning beauty as a state. Often referred to as the land of enchantment, this region possesses a truly captivating charm. Over the past 100 years, New Mexico has experienced a consistent increase in population. However, this growth seems rather modest when compared to that of Arizona. A number of people tend to favor Arizona over New Mexico for various reasons. In today's video, we will explain exactly why this is the case. New Mexico, as we know it today, was once part of Mexico, which is why their histories are closely connected. The former Mexican territory not only included New Mexico, but also Texas, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, California, a large part of Colorado, and a small section of Wyoming. Following the Treaty of Guadalupe-Hidalgo in 1848, Mexico ceded this territory to the United States. The U.S. completed acquiring the Mexican land in 1854 with the goal of creating a southern transcontinental railroad. All the territory between California and Texas was eventually combined into a single entity called New Mexico. Before becoming involved in the U.S. Civil War, there was intense debate over whether the New Mexico Territory should join the Union as a slave state or a free state. In fact, both the Union and the Confederates laid claim to the territory. Although the Union emerged victorious, Confederates in Texas continued to claim the southern part of the territory by adopting a new name and flag, Arizona. They hoped that the southern half of the territory would become the Confederate state of Arizona, separated from the northern part. The situation between Arizona and New Mexico changed after the Civil War ended in 1865. The reunified United States government divided the area into what is now eastern New Mexico and western Arizona territories. Northern New Mexico Territory was assigned to Colorado, while western New Mexico Territory was given to Nevada, which had joined the Union in 1864. New Mexico and Arizona didn't become full states until 1947, even though the original plan intended for them to achieve statehood much earlier. President Grover Cleveland initially pushed for the territory's entry in 1888, along with Washington, Montana, and Dakota. However, he lost this battle when political tides turned against him. Interestingly, New Mexico was not considered a contender for statehood even in 1888. Throughout its history, Nevada has played a significant role in American agriculture. When New Mexico gained statehood, its population stood at around 100,000 residents, a number much higher than 10,000. These people were committed to not being treated as American immigrants by U.S. officials. It's interesting to note that if Nevada and Arizona were to apply for statehood at that time, they too would not meet the requirements. Arizona and New Mexico joined the United States on February 14, 1912. This incorporation led to New Mexico's population growing to nearly 330,000, while Arizona's rose to just over 200,000. Comparing their current status, this demonstrates a substantial difference. The two states shared history and remained close for a long time after becoming separate territories. However, around the mid-20th century, the situation began to change. Arizona started to pull away from New Mexico due to its larger population and more robust economy. New Mexico initially had a larger population than Arizona, but by 1950, Arizona's population surpassed it. Despite their similar desert landscapes, water resources play a key role in their differing growth. Arizona relies on the Colorado River and a vast aqueduct system, while New Mexico has fewer water sources, impacting population and economic growth. On the other hand, New Mexico relies more on the Rio Grande, even though it also receives some water from the Colorado River. The Rio Grande is the largest river in the state, and New Mexico and Texas were embroiled in a legal battle over the rights to use the majority of the river's water. These two rivers have a significant difference in flow. The average flow of the Colorado River is around 22,500 cubic feet per second, while the Rio Grande's average discharge is only about 2,400 cubic feet per second. This disparity in water resources has had a lasting impact on the growth and development of both states. With a more abundant water supply, Arizona was able to expand its agricultural industry, which in turn attracted new residents. This growth contributed to Phoenix's economy's rapid development, surpassing that of New Mexico's capital, Albuquerque. In addition to water resources, other factors influenced the differing growth trajectories of Arizona and New Mexico. Climate and geographical features played a role in attracting people to one state over the other. As mentioned earlier, Albuquerque has a milder climate during winter compared to Phoenix, But many people prefer the more temperate winter weather in Arizona, making it a popular destination for snowbirds from the north. Furthermore, differences in elevation between the two states have had an impact on their respective populations and economies. New Mexico's capital, Albuquerque, boasts an elevation of around 5,300 feet above sea level, while the rest of the state averages about 5,000 feet. In contrast, Arizona's capital, Phoenix, lies in a valley with a much lower elevation than the rest of the state, which still maintains a relatively high elevation of around 4,000 feet. Approximately 1 million people reside in Phoenix, Arizona, enjoying the city's elevation of slightly over 1,200 feet above sea level. Summers in both Phoenix and Albuquerque are hot, but Albuquerque experiences a milder climate than Phoenix during the winter. The average low temperature in the fall and winter ranges from the high 40s to the low teens. Nevertheless, snowbirds from the north prefer Arizona's moderate winter climate over that of New Mexico's, and thus visit Arizona instead of Albuquerque. The vast discrepancy in water resources between these two predominantly desert states seems counterintuitive, but it's a fact. Arizona relies heavily on the Colorado River, although it also receives water from other sources. Colorado, Nevada, Wyoming, California, and New Mexico also draw water from this river. A massive aqueduct transports water from the Colorado River to Arizona. While New Mexico gets less water from the Rio Grande than from the Colorado River, the Rio Grande remains its largest river. In fact, New Mexico and Texas were recently involved in a legal dispute over the rights to use the majority of the river's water. These two rivers have a significant difference in flow. The average flow of the Colorado River is around 22,500 cubic feet per second, while the Rio Grande's average discharge is only about 2,400 cubic feet per second. This leaves New Mexico with considerably less water than it had in the early 20th century when agriculture was a major economic driver. A decrease in water supply can lead to a decline in population growth. While this is not the case currently, the effects can still be felt. Arizona's population flourished as its agricultural industry expanded, attracting new residents. This growth helped boost Phoenix's economy above that of New Mexico's capital, Albuquerque. However, there is more to this story than meets the eye. Both Arizona and New Mexico are characterized by their dry and arid landscapes, but their climates significantly differ. Albuquerque, New Mexico's capital, boasts an elevation of around 5,300 feet above sea level, while the rest of the state averages about 5,000 feet. In contrast, Arizona's capital, Phoenix, lies in a valley with a much lower elevation than the rest of the state, which still maintains a relatively high elevation of around 4,000 feet. Phoenix, home to about 1 million people, sits at just over 1,200 feet above sea level. While summers in both cities are hot, Albuquerque experiences a milder winter climate than Phoenix, with average low temperatures ranging from the high 40s to the low teens. However, snowbirds from the north are more drawn to Arizona's temperate winter climate than that of New Mexico, leading them to visit Arizona instead of Albuquerque. The Phoenix metropolitan area alone is home to around 5 million people, requiring an economy and industrial base to match. The city hosts teams from 4 of the 5 major U.S. professional sports leagues. In contrast, Albuquerque's population and economy are much smaller, with only 900,000 residents and no major league sports teams. New Mexico ranks as the 36th most populous state in the United States, with a slightly over 2.1 million population. On the other hand, Arizona is the 14th most populous state, with more than 7.3 million residents, over 3 times the size of New Mexico's population. However, this doesn't imply that New Mexico or Albuquerque aren't growing. From the 1970s through the 2010s, New Mexico's population experienced double-digit growth each decade, a rate that many other regions would envy. Compared to Arizona, though, this growth is relatively modest. Although New Mexico is a wonderful state with numerous advantages, it faced a unique set of challenges in the 20th century that prevented it from reaching its full potential. Meanwhile, neighboring Arizona didn't encounter the same issues, resulting in more people increasingly favoring Arizona over New Mexico. The Phoenix metropolitan area alone is home to around 5 million people, requiring an economy and industrial base to match. The city hosts teams from 4 of the 5 major U.S. professional sports leagues. In contrast, Albuquerque's population and economy are much smaller, with only 900,000 residents and no major league sports teams. What unique factors do you believe are drawing people to Arizona rather than New Mexico? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more.